Corky's hiccups. Corky had the hiccups. David was worried. "I'll have to take you to the doctor," he said. Just then, David's friend John rode up on his bike. "What's wrong?" he asked. "Hic," Corky hiccuped. "Oh, hiccups," said John. "Uh-huh. Dr. Stirrup, the animal doctor, will know what to do," David said hopefully. "Come on with us, John." John rode his bike. David walked. Corky ran along beside them, hiccuping, hic, hic, hic. At Dr. Stirrup's house, David stretched to reach the doorbell. He rang and he rang, but nobody came to the door. "Nobody's home," David said. "Hic," Corky hiccuped. "What shall we do now?" asked John. "I guess we'll just have to sit on the curbstone and wait," said David. "Hic," said Corky, and he sat down too. When Mrs. Butterfield came by, she asked, "What are you doing here, boys?" "Corky has the hiccups," answered David. "We're waiting for the doctor," said John. "Why, hiccups are easy to cure," Mrs. Butterfield said. "Hold your hands tight over Corky's ears. When he swallows, the hiccups will be gone." But Corky wouldn't even let David touch his ears. "Hic," he said, and he shook his head. "Arf, arf." "What's the matter with Corky, boys?" asked Judge Tewksbury on his way to court. "He has hiccups," David said sadly. "They won't go away," added John. "A dog with hiccups? Mercy me," said the judge. "Give him 9 swallows of water and keep him quiet. That will do the job." Mr. Benjamin, the grocer next door, gave David some water in a pan. Corky was thirsty and drank every drop. Then David held Corky's collar to keep him quiet. "Good," David said to John. "Those old hiccups are gone." Just then, Mr. Benjamin's black cat came out of the door. "Uh-oh, watch what happens now," said John. David reached for Corky, but before David could stop him, Corky was after the cat. "Arf, arf," barked Corky. "Meow," said the cat, and he ran up a tree. Back came Corky, tail wagging, head up. "Hic," he said. "Hic, hic." "Oh, no," David said. "Not again," said John. "Try sugar," Mr. Benjamin said. "I've heard it cures hiccups." He scooped some sugar into a paper sack and gave the sack to David. "You'll like this, Corky," said John. David poured the sugar onto the sidewalk. "Here, boy," he said. "Here." "Arf, arf," said Corky. He licked up the sugar so fast that David and John could hardly see his red tongue flicking in and out. "That's all. There isn't any more," said David as he blew into the empty sack until it was full of air. "It did cure his hiccups, didn't it, John?" "Hic," said Corky. "Hic." "Oh, no, not again," said David. He puffed a last big puff of air into the paper sack. Then he held the top of the sack shut and hit it hard. Bang! "Arf," said Corky, frightened. "Arf, arf, arf." He put his tail between his legs and ran round and round. "Look at him go," said John. Mr. Benjamin ran out of his store. "Who fired that gun?" he cried. A policeman roared up on his motorcycle. "What's going on?" he demanded. A car stopped at the curb. It was Dr. Stirrup's. "What's all the hullabaloo about?" he wanted to know. "I just popped a paper sack," said David. "Corky has the hiccups and you weren't home. Mrs. Butterfield told us to hold his ears. Judge Tewksbury said to give him 9 swallows of water and keep him quiet. Mr. Benjamin gave us sugar in a paper sack." "It all sounds strange to me," the policeman said, "but no harm's been done that I can see." Off he roared on his motorcycle. "Arf, arf, arf," barked Corky. "You say Corky has hiccups?" asked Dr. Stirrup. "I didn't hear anything but arf, arf." "Corky had the hiccups," David said, laughing. "Something must have cured them. Why, I think I cured them myself when I popped the sack." "A pop like that will do it every time, David," said Dr. Stirrup. "Yes, sir-ree," said John. He jumped on his bike. Thanks, Dr. Stirrup, said David. Come, Corky, come on, boy, we'll go home. Arf, said Corky, arf, and he wagged his tail happily.